Hey, welcome to this lesson where we are going to look for some information in order to get ideas about the topic on which our illustration will be based. Here, I'm having a look at the New York Times since this online newspaper offers loads of breaking new information, which will help us to pick a specific topic. You're free to pick the topic you want. There's a wide variety. In my case, I'm looking for an informative and interesting topic that catches the public's attention. In your case, you can focus on any of these topics, such as health topics in general, like the physical condition, changes that affect a person, about the intake of certain types of food, and things like that. Guys, we can observe that all these are simple and flat illustrations and are connected to the text they are attached. Also, an interesting fact is that they are like a metaphor of what the text is about. Let's look for a similar style. Characters that appear in these illustrations are kind of deformed and have curious shapes. However, despite these features, it can be easily appreciated that the figures represent people, right? We see people in them. One of the characteristics of these images is that they are quite simple and quite graphic. And as I said, they are very helpful for getting inspiration. In the case of the New York Times, we can find a lot of information, and also the images they use are quite good. And, well, this is all basically. If you don't want to use newspapers, you can try to look for other articles on internet whose text can be used as a reference for the illustration we want to develop. Because afterwards, we'll be laying it out and including it in a Photoshop file in order to prepare the final image we want to offer. Okay. Right. Let's try something else. What about coffee? So let's look for some interesting facts regarding coffee. I've selected coffee since I think it's quite common to find articles and websites talking about like benefits of coffee you didn't know or something like that. Let's imagine our illustration will be published in a magazine, website, or newspaper. In our case, it's better to think of a magazine since the use of colors in newspapers is quite limited. Okay, have a look at this website. Here we find the advantages and disadvantages of drinking coffee. So, we're going to focus on this topic. Another possibility, if you don't like the previous one, is looking for articles and news related to sports or the weather or any other news you like. The topic isn't that important as the fact of using a text as a reference to draw your illustration. Okay, regarding the text, let me mention some interesting stuff. Here, for instance, we can appreciate the typical text layout used in newspapers, right? It can be said that the text is sort of compressed, which makes it hard to understand and read what it says. This is because newspapers aim at providing the biggest amount of information possible in a limited space available. Nowadays, it's changed a little bit, and lines, words, and columns are not so compressed. So guys, this is the standard layout in newspapers: headline, deck, lead, and so on. However, these characteristics aren't the same in magazines, on which our text will be focused. In this case, we appreciate that colors are quite important, since they make use of visual elements. It is, magazines make use of visual elements to catch people's attention. Well, here we have magazines covers. As you can see, they are eye-catching and visually appealing. They have lots of colors and other stuff, right? So, as I said, they are characterized for using lots of colors, for accompanying the text with a picture, for using a readable text layout, quite separated columns, and so on. So, what you have to do now is to select a news, an article, or a similar text type, and then from this text, we are going to get a composition. So, guys, see you in the next lesson. Bye!